Fish people, fish and people, come and see. Warning, spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen this episode, then go watch it and come back. Let's hang out and chat about it, because it's Doctor Who. So, episode 6, The Caretaker. This is a chance for the Doctor to interject into Clara's world for a change. And he detects this alien presence in and around her school, and so he decides to go undercover as the caretaker for her school in order to find out what's going on. And in the midst of that, of course, Clara's trying to keep this kind of secret about her relationship with Danny Pink, and the Doctor has this opportunity to kind of find out about it. And they played with that throughout the episode, which I thought was funny. I love the case of mistaken identity, where he believes that the guy that looks kind of like Matt Smith is actually the guy that she's, seeing. I thought that was hysterical. And the moment with her in the TARDIS where he's talking about it, he's like, kind of resembles, a young time traveler. And she's thinking Danny Pink, and he's thinking, of course, of himself. And of course, when it's revealed that, Danny is in fact the object of her affections, it's completely the total opposite of what he was expecting. And especially, of course, the fact that he's a soldier, which has been alluded to in several episodes before, and how much he has a disdain for soldiers. But also, I thought the scene where Danny confronts the Doctor and calls him an officer, what we've seen in many of the last few episodes has been the reinforcement that the Doctor is a good person and is trying to be this good person. And a lot of that was centered around this. In this particular episode, they kind of pull it back a little bit and say, here's that other side of the Doctor. And when he confronts the Doctor and calls him an officer and, at the end of that scene says, that's who he really is. That was a powerful scene. Of course, at the same time, that that's not all he is. And that, the fact that there's definitely, a fight, within this character. And I love that there's some duality and they're playing with that in this episode. This idea of the darker side of the Doctor is explored further in the last conversation between Danny and Clara, where Danny looks at her and says, you weren't even afraid, and you should have been. And she trusts the Doctor, and yet at the same time, the Doctor isn't infallible. And that's sometimes, something that you can forget. And you think back to many of the, companions in recent years, and not all of their stories have ended well. The stakes are high when you're around the Doctor, and sometimes people forget about that. But it's a great reminder that the show does have stakes, and that again, it's just reinforcing this idea that the Doctor is trying to be a good man. At the same time, what he does and what he's often forced to do can sometimes have rather significant consequences. And that's where the great drama of this show is and why it's so good. The other part that I thought was interesting was Danny's interaction with the Doctor. Most people meet the Doctor and they're just infatuated with him, and they immediately are in amazement. Whereas Danny, he is apprehensive. And sees the Doctor as a dangerous character, and in many ways he's right. But I love the fact that they're kind of at odds with each other. It's not something we see a lot of when it comes to people that are close to the Doctor. And I have a feeling we're going to be seeing more of him, so I think that relationship will be more interesting as the show progresses. There are definitely some funny moments in this episode as well. I mean, the sign that he makes that says, "Go away, humans." I mean, that scene was really funny. And then, when Clara's scolding those two kids and he starts whistling Pink Floyd. I mean, what a great moment. And again, not something that I can really picture some of the other Doctors doing. And maybe they would, but I really like that they have fun with that kind of stuff. And, this episode was no shortage of funny moments either. They also had another moment with Missy in this episode, and I have no idea where that's going. They revealed that he's talking about the nether sphere. So it should be interesting to see where that goes. But I'm excited for the rest of this season. So what did you think? Leave a comment below and let's talk about it. And as always, click right here if you like what you see and subscribe to even more of me.